Hi, and welcome to the podcast where we're all besties because we love all things Bravo, pop culture, and can't stop talking about it. I'm Caitlin Marshall, your host here at Besties by Bravo, where we are in a safe space to share our thoughts.
That's my opinion!
About the Bravo celebrities and celebs we love, hate, and love to hate.
So be cool. Don't be all, uncool.
Because it's all for fun. And there is a possibility that we may hit a nerve. We have been blocked by Lisa Rinna on Instagram. You guys, Jen Shaw blocked me.
Yeah, I guess.
Either way, we're all friends here. So, thanks for joining me on Besties by Bravo. Hello, besties. Thanks for joining this week. I have a special guest who has been on here before, but I just adore having him on here. And just as usual, with all of my friends I have on here, I'm constantly messaging with him back and forth and in our DMs together about all the insanity that has been going on. I have Terence from Chronicles of Bravo joining me all the way from London. Hi, Terence.
Hi, Caitlin. Hi, everyone. So happy to be here again. I had such a great chat last time. I'm very much looking forward to diving into all things Scandival.
I am so glad you're here. This is wild. So we are on week 2 of Scandival. Can you believe it?
I feel like, Caitlin, everything else that has come out in the news, Bravo news, since Scandival has just been so minimal because Scandival was so big. I feel like nothing is in comparison. Like, I will remember where I was for a very long time when that news broke.
It's true. I mean, as silly as it sounds, it is 1000% true. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff that's, I don't even know where we go from here after this. I'm like, how?
Yeah, we're gonna need another major cheating scandal, prison sentence, arrest. We're gonna need something big, to cover up for the last year. Bravo has just been throwing it out.
They have. And to the people who keep trying to say like, oh, this is for ratings. Absolutely not. I don't believe it's for ratings. There are some things you can see it. We all have keen eyes, especially as Bravo content creators. We can tell when it's like, okay, y'all were prompted by producers, things like that. Oh no.
We have watched this franchise, Vanderpump Rules, for 10 years now. We know this cast. We know how production works. We watch Bravo shows. We can snuff it out in a hot second. And if we can't, someone on Twitter will absolutely point it out for us, But no, this I feel like goes back to the real organic drama of the beginning seasons.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of that first and really second season in all the ways that are just like, oh my God, like I don't know, and I've been listening to podcasts that I never have listened to before because they're all of them are making their rounds. I was listening to the I'm probably going to say his name incorrectly, Nick Vial, who was a bachelor. I was listening to his podcast. He had Kristen on. I'm listening to Sheena's podcast. I'm listening to Lala's podcast. I'm like, it's just, in this girl, Jamie, did you listen to the podcast, Jamie All Over? Where,
no, I've similar to you, I've listened to a lot of them. There's so many. I haven't listened to these Bravo celebrities podcasts, most of them ever.
No.
And then I started with Kristen's, and then I just went down a rabbit hole of listening to all these different podcasts about the same subject. I was almost like the information was insatiable. Like I couldn't get enough perspective of it. Absolutely. Like I wanted to hear everyone who was involved. I wanted to hear what they had to say. So unfortunately, yes, I gave about 8 to 10 hours of my life to podcasts.
and even more now today by recording one with me.
Absolutely.
Well, for those of you who maybe didn't hear this podcast, you can go look her up anywhere you listen. It's Jamie All Over, and she had oh my gosh, and I'm gonna his last name, I'm trying to remember. I should have written it down. His name's Kale, and he's been a dear friend of Sheena's and became a very good friend of Rakel's,
Yes.
and was really there for her through a lot of things. He has worked in the music industry for a very long time and is a life coach now. And so I guess he was really giving his perspective on everything regarding the temporary restraining order and that's against Sheena, that just all of this. And he basically, and Jamie was giving some perspective as well about something in particular she had covered up for Rachel with production. And she had been lying for her for a while. So I'll start with that. We'll start there. So the lie that Rachel, I guess, told production was, you know, that video that we kind of caught a glimpse of when James was being kicked out of the Canyon Club because he was being kind of belligerent. He and Allie were fighting and all of that.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
It was cell phone footage that we got for just a glimpse, right?
Yes.
Well, actually, there were only like 2 people who took this footage. One was some random girl that was in their area, and Brock caught her and said, this part is a little odd to me, but he said, hey, you need to send me that video and delete it off of your phone. Just complete stranger, all right?
Okay.
And the other person that was taking the video was Raquel. And Raquel sent it to production, but what she did was she told production that Jamie is the one who took the video, and Jamie did not. And this is where it got a little messy, was when they were outside.
Wow.
And so they were outside of the Canyon Club, and the girl that Brock had caught taking the video was standing like a little too close, trying to listen into their conversation. Filming was done, and they were just kind of sitting there like, oh my God, like just going back and forth about stuff. And this girl, Jamie, she's from Jersey, and she says to the random stranger, she's like, can you not be so close to us? Thank you. And I guess like the girl started mouthing off, and she was like, basically get the fuck out of here, right? Well, when production was told by Rachel that Jamie took the video, they wanted Jamie to sign a release. And Jamie was like, I didn't take the video, so I don't want to sign a release.
Signed anything,
and
absolutely.
there was this whole thing that happened at right, because her issue was she was nervous that there would be something with the liability with the video because A, since she didn't take it, and B, she mouthed off at the only other person who was taking the video. And if that person maybe still hung on to the video and could say, no, actually, she didn't take the video, and she signed like a legal document saying, oh, yes, this is my video. I own it. You can use it. That would not be okay. So I'm not sure where they got how this footage ended up being able to be played. But I guess what also happened was there was a scene that was never shown on the show that Jamie was there at SUR having dinner with, I don't know, maybe like Sheena and Brock or someone. And James was there and came up to her and started yelling at her and getting mad at her, being like, why are you filming me? What's your problem? Why all this stuff. And he and Jamie are going back and forth in SUR to the point where Lisa even says, this is a restaurant. You can't be doing this in here. And like all this stuff, right? Well, then Rachel DMs, I know, right? So she DMs another one of their friends or texts her, it's one of the two, that I believe her name was Lexi, and is like, Lexi, can you say that you took this video? And Lexi's like, no, I'm a small business owner. I'm not getting involved in this shit. Hell no. And so Jamie finally says, I'm not going to sign the release, but I will go ahead and say that I took the video, but I'm not going to sign this release. I don't want to deal with this mess. So she ends up saying, like, I've been covering for Rachel this whole time when she's the one who took the video, trying to catch James being an asshole.
I mean, it's just a mess. Oh my God, what an absolute circle of mess. Like the layers to the story is just like, it's never ending. It's, you hear someone else, there's their side of events, and then there's a whole nother layer to their side of events as well. So it's just a continuous, it's like information all the time.
Yeah. Instead, it's not a lightning bolt, it's an infinity circle of shit.
No, oh my God, that's such a good reference, Caitlin. I really like that. Yeah, it's just an infinity circle of shit. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so then Kale is saying on the podcast, like, and we've all seen this circulating on social media, that clearly Rachel has this marking under the eye that she says she was punched in it. It looks like it was her right eye, which I've done a lot of like not psychoanalysis, but I've done a lot of like analysis on it, and I believe Sheena is right-handed. Okay, that's my belief. Now, if you are a right-handed person, you are going to be hitting across, right? I mean, whatever your power hand is, if you're punching someone, you could go to like any kickboxing class, and naturally you're gonna want to have your most powerful hit coming from your strong, like your dominant side. Well, if Sheena is right-handed, then she would have actually hit Rachel in the left eye, not her right eye. So that's number one. The eye that she was saying she was hit in is her right eye, and you can now I'm getting confused because there are different videos. Regardless, you can see before, even in this week's episode, that she's got just like a dark marking under her eye.
Right under eye.
Now, I don't know if that's what she was trying to say was like the indicator, but she was like, oh, I've got this cut, whatever. She put makeup on before she sent the photos to TMZ. So I'm gonna
listen. Sheena for me does not strike me as someone who is going to like. I feel like Sheena is definitely like a shover, I think she might like maybe a little
at
slap,
most,
but like a shover, phone as well, throwing on the ground, a little push. But I do not think Sheena, no matter how much her rage, I don't think she would punch.
No, she's never been violent. That's the thing. That's why it's kind of crazy to me that this judge even granted. I mean, it's easy to get the temporary restraining order granted. It's not easy to get it as a continuation, which they have that. So the date for that as well is on March 29th. And it just so happens to be that they are filming the reunion on the 23rd. So that still was Rachel's way of getting out of having to be in the same room as Sheena, which was so stupid.
Listen,
but number two, there's...
Sorry, I think we overlapped there. I was just going to say, Caitlin, for me, I think, you have signed up to a reality show. Like, you have signed a contract, you are filming your life. To then be part of a scandal and, like, try back away and not give the producers, like, camera time or the full story. Like, I've heard that Rachel has only filmed once, and that was with Sandoval, and she's kind of iced out producers since then. And it's like, no, I would like full story. I want you at the reunion. If that means Sheena has to dial in virtually, so be it. I think maybe the producer should have pushed back the reunion to like just after the 29th just to see the fallout. If the restraining order wasn't granted any further, it's like, well, sorry, Rachel, you're contracted to turn up now. So, and if she walks away and doesn't do the reunion,
exactly,
won't be happy.
No, I am so torn on what I think she's going to do. Because we have 10 years worth of footage of Sheena never, ever being physical with anyone, no matter how terrible or upset she is. Yeah. The only people we've ever seen actually get physical are Tom Sandoval and Jax and that douchebag Frank. And then we've seen Kristen and Stassi. And that's it. So we don't, it's insane. It's asinine to even suggest that we believe Sheena would actually, and I've said this a million times before now, Sheena, her height difference between her and Raquel, it's the type of Superman up punch she would have had to do to get straight up like at her eyebrow. And she's got like the longest nails. But my nails are long, right? Like my nails are, I think they're fairly long. And even for me, if I make a fist, like I can't even fully make a fist. And my nails aren't even like half the length of Sheena's. Yeah. So that's that. Listen, there's all of that.
If anyone,
so then I guess here was the other.
No, sorry, carry on, Caitlin.
Oh no, please continue.
I was just going to say, listen, out of all of them, I think Sheena is most within her right to get physical because she's had such a bad edit for so many years on that show, but she has never ever got physical with anyone. I think she's been taken the piss out of, like the producers have really like taken the piss out of her music career, her residency stuff they didn't even cover. So she's really had like she's not been a champion of the producers and the editors. So if anyone is in their right to get angry or, physical to get some better airtime, it's been Sheena. And she never has.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. And we forget, you remember that whole thing where that one particular editor or producer was talking about how she gave Sheena that shitty, she would give Sheena Sheena the shitty edit. Say that 5 times fast. And the way she made it look like Sheena was like trying to hit on Stassi's little brother. Do you remember that?
Yeah, remember that very well.
She, of course, listen, y'all, like Terrence is I know there are some other people who call themselves Bravo historians for sure. No, no one has anything on Terrence when it comes to Bravo history. So
Samantha
please know that. I'm sorry, but yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with her or anything, but I also am kind of like, honey, you did not corner the market.
No, absolutely, completely agree with that. But I've covered that in a previous Vanderpump Rules video on my TikTok page, is talking about Brie and how when she admitted to that in an article, she was fired. She was like, let go. And it's like, it does seem that she handed over the baton of the bad Sheena edits to other editors, because it hasn't changed. Yeah. It has still continued ever since Brie left the editing room.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. Sheena can say and do some really cringy things, but I do have to say, like, I've never been like Team Sheena. I don't know why. I probably because I've always, it's just
she's cringe, Caitlin.
She really can be, and it's like I've been a fan of the Witches of WeHo. I've always, and people can say what they want. I mean, and especially this season, I'm finally it's like finally people are like, oh, Katie isn't so bad. And I'm like, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. She's not.
I'm reveling in it.
She's been next to this guy who's been gaslighting her.
Yeah, absolutely. I am reveling in, and she had such a warm reception on Watch What Happens Live.
I mean, it's like he made her look bad. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, no, we're here.
I lost you.
Yeah. No, are you here? I'm here. Hello.
I got you. Yes.
I'm here.
Yes, I hear you. So your video went away, but I will learn from last time that your video should be recording locally. So that's the beauty of this.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So, and she did get a warm reception on Watch What Happens Live. I think once everyone's starting to get the wool pulled from over their eyes and seeing Schwartz that, like, no, he's not a terrible person, but he is so lukewarm and wishy-washy and so, I'm just a charming puppy dog, that he made Katie look terrible, in contrast when she'd be like, stand up for me when someone is being a complete and total asshole to me. Oh, you poured beer over my head. You're being an asshole, saying, like, hurtful things to me on camera, like saying, like, oh, I don't want to have sex with you. Like, I mean, it's terrible shit that he would say.
All these really awful things to her. I remember when they went away in last season and he was like, I hate the way that you sound, or I hate the way that you speak. And it was just so, like, you could see on Katie's face that she was like, all I want is a bit of kindness and love. And this is not how a husband should be treating their wife. Like, in any way. Even in an argument.
You're right. Right. And here's the thing, too, is, like, I've said this as well, so I'm sorry if I'm being redundant, but, like, if you can imagine that he would have the audacity to say those things in front of not only their friends, but in front of cameras being mic'd up and knowing that what's going to come from it, can you genuinely imagine what he says behind closed doors? That he says the worst things.
Absolutely.
So,
even when I saw that TMZ video of him walking in the airport on his way to Winter House, I was just like, his whole demeanor is so like, oh, I'm so puppy-eyed, I don't know anything, I'm so blasé to the world. And it's like, no, you know exactly what you're doing, you know exactly what you're putting out there, you know exactly how you want to be perceived by people, and I can see right through it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's funny? They're here in my state of Colorado, so I was like, man, I have no excuse to go to Steamboat, but I really wish I had a good excuse. I just don't, and I'm not going to be a stalker, so there's that. And some eagle-eyed fans online saw that it looked like Joe, his not girlfriend, was in the background of that TMZ video.
Oh, so she's going.
And also, how did TMZ know? Good question. But my other question is, how the hell did TMZ know that Tom Schwartz was going to be at LAX at that time? TMZ is not hanging out at LAX in the baggage terminal. What in the hell? Give me a break. See, this is the shit that we know. We know.
It's just like Casey said on Watch What Happens Live. She was like, you know, because she apparently moaned to Tom, and Tom was like, oh, I was tired. I just got out of bed. I didn't know what I was saying. And she was like, you said the word auspicious, or what was the word or something? She was like, you were not tired. Like, you knew what you were saying. Like, you said a word that you would never have said if you were tired.
You said a word that literally you can't even... Yeah, I don't even remember what he said. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because that's like you don't use. Yeah, Tom's not. I don't know. Sometimes he can. Now that I'm thinking about it, he'll try and like sprinkle in some word that he thinks is like, I don't know, going to make him look a little bit. I don't know, more intelligent, really, and like he knows what he's talking about. But listen, buddy, that's great that you have a word of the day calendar, but we don't need to know every time you get a new one.
No, we do not.
No. So something else this guy Kale was saying is that whenever he had spoken with Raquel, literally the Saturday after all of this broke, and again, this was exactly 2 weeks ago that he was talking about this conversation he had with Raquel, she was very calm and very just not very upset. And that she was really just like they were trying to just talk through. Well, so he took that screen recording of you on your on the FaceTime without you knowing that's not a good thing for a man to be doing to you. He's actually the one who was kind of saying that to her, like, Rachel, this is not like that's no one should be doing that without your consent. And so I guess he and Raquel tested out. Yeah, right. That's terrible. And so I guess he and Raquel tested out if you can tell that someone is screen recording you while you're on FaceTime, because it does tell you if someone takes a screenshot, and I guess it does not tell you. That was something on a previous podcast I was supposed to try and test out with my friend Jesse, but I don't know. We got sidetracked. So, you know, he was saying to Rachel, I want you to try and grow from this. Go away, learn, become a better woman. And I guess she was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And he basically was saying she is so very smart and much smarter than people realize. And I'm like,
I'm not sure. I think that underneath, listen, let's not forget that she's a pageant girl, and I'm not saying that pageant girls in any way are like not, you know, like on it or clever or anything, but there is an energy that
girl.
Rachel puts out. Exactly. Look at the difference, you know? I think Lala did say it right. Like, Rachel is Bambi-eyed. She's like, where am I? What does, just her friend having to explain, you know, someone recording you while you're doing something intimate on FaceTime isn't right, is a lack of real life experience or understanding of the way the world works, and that not everything is love and light. There are bad people out there. Traumatic experiences do exist, you know? And I think to have a friend explain that to you, when you're in your late 20s, how old is she, is just a bit, you know, these are... Yeah, and if you didn't learn any of that shit with James, then I don't know what the fuck you were doing, you know? Yeah,
you know what? That point is very astute in the sense that her not being aware of the, I don't know, the sinister parts of this world, and that going on a camera whatsoever, doing anything sexual, I mean, have we learned nothing by now that, look, if that is your prerogative to do whatever you want to do. That's not even what I'm, you know, I'm not trying to shame anyone for doing that, because honestly, like, you know, but that's being so like, oh, that they could do that. Yes, baby girl, they can. And what if his phone got hacked? I mean,
absolutely. Yeah.
They've done this. How many
Imagine,
celebrities does this
imagine,
have to happen to
yeah,
you?
but imagine if Ariana, in a moment of real anger, when she had just found it, had been like, "Do you know what? I'm going to share this with the motherfucking world." Imagine if, and that would, even if she had deleted it a second
Oh my
later,
God.
it's gone out there. It would have, and unfortunately, Ariana would have, she would have had repercussions. They would have been,
Right.
things would have happened to her. But in a moment of finding
Right.
out that your partner of 10 years was fucking, one of your best friends, the rage.
In your home.
So, absolutely. But also, Rachel, you're in the public eye. Like, you've been on this show. Like, be very careful of the situations you put yourself in, and what you do on
Yes.
camera and things like that. And I don't know, I just think Sandoval, if Rachel truly did not know that this was being recorded, it makes Sandoval even more of a creep and a fucking weirdo than before, because it's absolutely disgusting to record someone like that without them knowing. Like, what was he hoping to do? Like,
Agreed.
rewatch that at some point and pleasure himself watching it?
Because he gets to see himself in it.
Yeah, like what? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
That's the thing for him, I think. I think we're all realizing he's just straight up a narcissist, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I found it very interesting listening to Kristen go on the podcasts and do her own podcast, and I mean, I feel like she's still Kristen,
Yeah.
but she has very much like she's had growth, and I think
It is one of my favorite parts of this whole mess is seeing the love and support that Kristen has generated for herself just by being herself and how she is now,
Yeah.
You're right. It is the same Kristen. I hadn't listened to her podcast before the episode came out that she did about Scandal. And I listened to that, and Caitlin, I felt really proud of her. I was like, it's in these 10 years and the time since you've left Vanderpump, like the growth is just phenomenal. And the fan support that she generated as well was just so lovely to see. Like, I really liked seeing people become like Team Kristen.
Yeah. Yeah, I did too. And that's someone who really, she had her cringe moments and she owns it. And that's the thing is like, listen, if I had a camera following me around during my summers in Los Angeles with the same group of friends that we have a lot of drama, I don't even want to fucking know what those cameras would have caught.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Exactly. Yeah.
I the first layer of earth would need to swallow me whole after 5 minutes. I don't
And
think
it's all out
I
there
could.
forever.
So
It's there.
forever.
Forever. Yeah. There. And there are many TikTok.
and
there's one TikTok account that I followed, Didi Maido, and she basically is,
Yes!
is a really big fan of Kristen and really does a lot of like Kristen
I
montages
love her.
and love her. Yeah, was one of the first TikTok accounts I found a year ago that did all of this like Bravo stuff. I really love the focus on
yes,
Kristen.
and she's
It's
so
really
nice.
lovely. Yeah, so nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's so funny too.
Hilarious.
And that's the thing too, is this is something that I think a lot of people are probably thinking, that you made a point in our shared notes here about everyone making these rounds. Are they making money off of this? To my understanding, I don't believe that, Kristen is being paid to go on Nick Viall's podcast.
No,
Lala
no.
is not paying Katie to come on hers.
No.
They're going to make money whether they podcast about it or not.
Yes, I think they're going to have a lot more people listening to episodes.
Now,
They're
the
gonna
Send
have
It
a
to
lot more
Daryl merch.
download. Yes. So I was just about to say the Send It to Daryl stuff. Like that's Lala sending a van around Los Angeles with like Send It to Daryl advertisements by the merch. But you know what? Like I also, if there's a gap to make a little bit of dosh and you have the support of your best friend who, the trauma is surrounding, why not?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm all for it, especially I'm a single mom. Do what you gotta do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I've contemplated making merch, but I'm like, I don't know. Should I? Could I?
Yeah, absolutely,
Anyway,
you should be
would you
making
guys
merch.
buy
Like,
it?
absolutely. I encourage you to make all of the merch, Caitlin.
Okay. Well, I have it on the website, but I've been needing to get the samples, and so because I don't want to have anyone spend a dime until I've seen any of it in person, because I'm like, what if it like, sucks or something? So as soon as I get my samples, right, like it's just as soon as I get the samples, you'll be one of the first people I send some to. Okay?
Please, I do need some Housewives merch, so send it my way.
Oh, gladly. Listen, I have your book. I don't want to
love it.
I don't know if I can. If I turn my camera, my whole setup's gonna fall down. But your book is literally part of my decor above my bed, and I'm sure people see it in a lot of my TikTok videos and stuff.
I love that.
So, I'm also, when I post this, I'm gonna put the link for it again, because it's such a cute book. It's like so fun, and I mean, it is so perfect that you made it, because it is so well researched as always, and I love it. It's I do love
my Housewives quotes. I do daily, they come out of my mouth just sporadically. It's, my work colleagues, I really feel for them, because they don't get any of the references, and then I have to be like, that was Dorinda Medley, Real Housewives of New York, so it's because they just don't get it. Like, if I answer my colleagues and I'm like, I'm not well, bitch, they're like, what do you mean you're not well? And I'm just like, it's Dorinda Medley, Real Housewives of New York. I once was referring to a really annoying client, and I was like, she is a slut from the 90s. And my colleague was like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, it's Portia, Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Oh my God. Like, how do you not know that, Ashy?
How do you not know that? Exactly.
Oh my God. You and I could go for days. I love it. Like, one time I made a post on Instagram about, like, if we just called everyone by, like, very specific Bravo insults, like, a family van, Jesus Johns,
a white refrigerator,
sprinkle cookies,
yes,
white refrigerator, wig, a one-wick candle.
Absolutely. There is so many. We've now even got the Nicole does invite. There is so many amazing. Yes. So I've even done a video on this, Caitlin, on the inanimate objects of the Real Housewives, which is everything like this. Even Candace's tissue fold. All of these amazing things that we know and love that have just become so associated with the franchise.
And I love it. And listen, y'all, Terence, he cracks me up too. So this is something that was devastating to me. It was devastating. I'm sure that, I don't know if that's the word. His account, we're pretty sure it was Jen Shaw's bitch ass and one of her little fucking devastating minions. He had a lovely. I mean, I considered it devastating.
Yeah,
he had a wonderful following on TikTok that was organic. That he started it from ground zero, and it. In a matter of months, because his content is so incredibly original and unique, that when this account was shut down, I was like, at that point, I mean, not that I have that many followers on TikTok now. I had 300 followers, and I was like, Terence, can I do anything? No one cares what I have to say, but I was devastated by this. And so, anyway, you have to go see his videos. I mean,
yes,
you crack me up.
It was very frustrating. Like you said, it was a really lovely community that I built with all these usernames of people from all around the world I just can't remember. It's impossible to find that community again. But I have slowly rebuilt. I'm now under Bravo Chronicles on TikTok, and I'm slowly getting there. I just hit 13,000, so I'm slowly kind of rebuilding and getting back to where I was. But it is really lovely, because every couple of days someone will come through and be like, oh my God, there you are. I've missed your videos. I haven't seen you in months. And it'll be Sheila from Wisconsin, or John from Australia. So it's just really nice to reconnect with these people that I was hearing their opinions all the time. So to just have lost this digital world, I felt bereft. And yes, I blame Jen Shah and her minions. I hope she's having a really bad time in prison.
Same. I hope that you're having the only alcohol you're enjoying is coming from the toilet, because this should tell you something, that he has hit 13,000 followers. This happened in December? I believe it was,
happened,
right?
The end
November,
of December.
December?
Yeah, the end of December. Yeah.
It is mid-March, and he has hit 13,000 followers. I've been working on my TikTok since October, and I'm at 1,300.
No,
that is how good his content is. Okay, that should tell you something.
That. Thank you.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's easy to talk about that. I'm a great salesman when I believe in the product. Let me just put it that way.
Yes, I mean, I do.
Okay.
A lot of my videos are like research driven. They take a lot of time. So I mean, I am blessed in the fact that I do kind of make time for that. I do have a life where I can give a couple of hours a day where I can devote to like proper research and finding the right stuff. But you know what, Caitlin, in doing that, and I'm sure you experience this as well, even in your podcasts or your videos, is no matter how long it takes you to create, research, put a video together, there will always be those people that are like, you forgot this. Or actually, it happened on this day and not that day. And I'm like, girl, I've just done like 3 or 4 hours of research and you're coming at me for like saying 1969 instead of 1967, you know?
Genuinely, you and I were talking about this the other day. How like, I don't know, someone will come in to, and this will be on a video that it's just because I made it 2 weeks ago. You forgot about Juan getting fired from Coppin State. I'm like, I did not, because it had not happened yet. I don't have a crystal ball.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
And if I were doing this stuff you were doing, I would lose my fucking shit on people. I'm sorry. Y'all don't even know how much it takes to, for what you specifically do, to come up with just all the pictures that you see, the background images. If y'all understood how much it took to get those pictures, make sure they are sized correctly to TikTok standards. Y'all, I know. Oh, boohoo, poor.
I know, poor us.
Content creators, but
it
y'all don't get it.
Work. And do you know,
I have 10,000 photos on my phone.
Yeah. Just gonna say this. Do you know how sometimes my phone hates me? Because it's like, if you take one more fucking screenshot and put me in the Housewives folder, I'm going to lose my shit. You know, even when I'm recording sometimes. And Caitlin, like, I make so many bloopers. Like, do you know how many times I sometimes have to record specific clips? Because I'll be like, hey guys, so today we're gonna... And I just can't get it out for like 6 or 7 takes. I'm messing up words. And I'm sometimes like, if only people knew that sometimes it takes me like 30 minutes to record a 3-minute video.
Oh, 30 minutes. Honey, I was, let me just tell you, this is why y'all, I know this is so stupid and we're still going on, but this is just like truly what it's like, how much effort it takes for us when we enjoy putting the content out. It's not that we don't like doing it. And we enjoy seeing our own content, you know, reach people. It's just...
Absolutely.
Like, I tried to make, oh my God, TikTok has been my enemy so many times. When all of this broke, it was Friday, I think it was. Yeah. And I was trying to make a video about everything that was going on, and it was kind of like going to be a get ready with me while I'm doing my makeup, and I'm just going as fast as I can with as much information as I can get out. It took me an hour to make it. It really would have only taken me a maximum of 30 minutes to do my makeup. It was an hour long, and then guess what happened? TikTok crashed, and the whole motherfucking video got deleted. I just stared at my phone and I was like, if I didn't need you so badly, I would throw you out the window.
So Caitlin, this actually happened to me. This happened to me last week. There was like
steam coming off of the top of my head.
Absolutely. I did a video last week on an update on where some of the ex-Below Deck cast members are now. And I spent about 35 minutes in post-production doing captions, putting like their names, you know, which season they were from, if it was Below Deck Med, Down Under. And as I pressed next to save as draft, TikTok just crashed.
The amount of time the name is going to be on the screen, where, when.
Yeah. And the whole thing just went... gone. And I was like, I can't deal with this now. I have to walk away from my phone.
And that's what you have to do, because it's like, I'm not a violent person, but that makes me feel violent.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, my wall would have had more than a little scratch under its eye. My wall would have been severely, you know, damaged.
Yeah, it was. Oh, well, why don't we take a quick break and jump in to the episode, this supersized episode. So, stick around, friends. We'll be right back. Okay, friends, thank you for sticking around with us. What you don't know, Terence and I were just like sitting there talking for probably 30 minutes, just chit-chatting, and I was like, oh yeah, we're supposed to be recording.
Let's get back to it.
Oh, yeah, that. Okay, so this is something that I was messaging with you about that I'm not sure. I want to approach this episode with half of the thinking cap that okay, how would we have felt if we didn't know about Scandival? And the other half of the thinking cap going, oh, but we know about Scandival now.
Yeah.
Because the reactions would be completely different.
I completely agree with you. Like, Katie, Lala would have been villains, like, absolutely. And the love for Raquel, not Rachel, would have been, like the love for Raquel, because that's what we would have known her as, not Rachel, would have been, and I did have moments, Caitlin, I won't lie. I had moments where I was like, almost in a sense like championing Rachel, just because of Lala's like just moments of complete like Teresa and Alexia vibes, which is just like can't see what she's saying, it's just dumb and stupid. So I like had moments where I was like, come on, get your point across, Rachel, like properly so she gets it. But no, because of Scandival, it's Rachel can do no right. Like I see her for what she is, which is going behind your best friend's back and fucking her boyfriend.
Because and with that, I saw more social media talk here. @bywig hello drama, great account on Instagram, Twitter, and I think she's on they are on TikTok, but they posted someone who is a psychotherapist had a point about how Rachel has most likely this deep-rooted trauma from that stems literally from her newborn phase of being adopted. And she was saying, I'm not trying to say adoption is traumatic for they can build beautiful families. But she said it is actually part of what, we study in psychotherapy, that there is this bond created between the infant and the person who grew them, and they're because they hear your voice and all of this. And so I think this is where being a mom to such a young child, that pulled my heartstrings a little bit, and I thought, wow, I can't imagine what that must feel like, because there is a lot of questioning for people who are adopted, I'm sure, of why didn't my parents want to keep me, very sad. Very deep wounds, I would say, if that's something that you are questioning. She does have an incredibly loving family, because from what I recall, it was that her biological mother she considers her aunt, who is her mother's younger sister, I believe. And her mother is yes, biologically Rachel's mother that she considers her mother is her aunt.
Okay. And
her biological mother she considers her aunt. Does that make sense?
Okay.
I know it's like
yeah. Wow. Okay. Wow.
Excuse me.
That's going to come with some stuff.
Right. Yeah. And I guess there was a whole thing about how like her older sister, who is technically her cousin, I guess, if I'm remembering this correctly, wasn't really interested in her, didn't want to have a lot to do with her until she was older and could go to the bars with her or something like that. So that says a lot too about maybe why her sister has been perpetuating and backing excuse me, I'm so sorry. Why her sister has been perpetuating and backing this relationship is because I think her sister likes the attention and the whole concept as well. Okay. And so, I went, wow, that like as a mom, that does give me a different type of empathy. And I think you don't even have to be a mother to have some empathy for that. And I'm not trying to even insinuate that either. No, but, as a woman, I cannot even negotiate the idea of doing that, knowing that a man was in a relationship like that to another woman. And as a human being, I cannot grasp the concept of doing that to someone I considered a friend, and not even so good to you. Friend. Yes. Yeah. So, I want to agree. I think you and I are on the same page about this, and I want to preface that for when there are going to be moments that I think you and I are going to be like, we're going to sound like we feel for her, but that's because, again, I'm putting such a big disclaimer because I really want to reiterate, we are not team Raquel.
No, absolutely. Our team Ariana, absolutely.
Yes, 1000%.
Yeah.
And all of this as well, because there are going to be things that I'm going to be saying also about Sheena. My respect for Sheena and my thoughts on Sheena have changed drastically in the last week, I would say. Also listening to her podcast that she had, that girl Jamie, from the Jamie Oliver podcast on, and she fully intends to be apologizing to Katie. And she said that she looked, rewatching her behavior, she didn't like it. Even just with some of the things that are now to light, even if she removed it some, she really feels bad about it and intends to apologize to her at the reunion to her face. Okay. So, good. You know, I'm good with Sheena right now.
Me too. I think Sheena, for many years, Sheena was just, not someone I really championed. I was like the editor. I always took the piss out of her on my TikTok videos, you know?
It's easy.
I was just like Brie. It's so easy. She just does so many things that are so cringeworthy and easy to take the piss out of. But yeah, since this all fell out and seeing how Sheena has soldiered for Ariana, and potentially what happened between her and Rachel, like my level of respect for Sheena has just like
skyrocketed
tremendously. And I don't think I will badmouth Sheena for a very long time, you know, like on my page.
I agree. Yeah. I will badmouth her a little bit in this episode, but but remember, friends, it's also going to sound like we're okay with Raquel in this episode, but we're because we do have to do a little bit of a dual thing here, which is really tricky. Because this is what I'm going to start off with. I'm sorry, I keep clearing my throat. I do not feel that Raquel was that bad that night in Vegas.
No. But I mean, besides that little comment about, I mean, come on, that's like different because I mean, but her behavior, have this cast, do they not remember like their first few seasons? Like I can sit down with them and show them on Prime or Hey You. Like I can be like, do you want, come on Tequila Katie, come on Crazy Kristen, like come on Lala, cheating Lala. Let me show you what you were like, you know, a few years ago. So it's like, I think they forget that she wasn't that bad. She made out with one person. She came back home with everyone else, you know. She might have heated up some bread, but
she was doing the exact same shit I do. I'm like, get me some food. Listen, the only thing that was amateur about that is my favorite move is if I'm out, I do this with Jessie and when I go out with her and Vicky. In my Lyft on my way home, as soon as I get in the Lyft, I pull up DoorDash and I go ahead and start placing my Taco Bell order so that it's on my doorstep when I get home.
Love that.
That's the pro move, okay?
Yeah. See, Rachel has to learn so much.
So much. But really, you know, yes, she said something really shitty. Because I'm going to tell you what, if she had... I'm trying to put myself in the position of Lala there. If she had said that to me, I don't know. I would have been like, because here's the thing too. Of all the things that Raquel could have said to Lala that weren't, good. I mean, like, thank God you don't have a man to, like, fucking have around. You should have said, good thing I don't have the same taste in men as you do. Because don't worry, no one is trying to fuck Randall. No one. Even if your man was around, I wouldn't be trying to fuck him if you were the last one. So that's, I mean, no one is... Anyone who is interested in mini Harvey Weinstein needs to take a good long look in the mirror because the money actually is not there. And so let's take away the money and then let's talk. Okay.
And then there's, nothing at all.
But you know, it's just crazy to me how Raquel is desperate for attention. She's desperate for approval. And this was something else that I meant to mention from that. I'm sorry, going a little bit backward here. From that podcast where Kale was on Jamie all over, he said something very specific that I thought was interesting and was really in my head going into this episode, which is that Raquel has always been almost obsessed with what Lala thinks of her. And
I see that. Yeah, she's constantly looking for Lala's approval. Yeah.
To have that confirmed.
Yeah.
I thought was very interesting. But you know, like, I think to her, oh, well, if Lala thinks he's hot, then, ooh. I mean, listen.
But even Caitlin, if you found out now that, let's say, okay, I'm going to be controversial here. Let's say that you found out now that Jesse slept with your ex-husband 6 years ago, you're not going to be like, oh, hey, Jesse, let's go on a girls' trip. You know, you're going to be like, I am never speaking to her ever again. She is not part of my life, you know? Like, it's so even for Rachel now to be comfortable enough to be around Lala so prematurely when she just found this out, it's just like there's so much in her that's like pleasing people. She wants that approval from Lala. She wants to be, you know, pleased by she wants to be liked by so many people that she's willing to, you know, compromise. I don't even know if she's got a belief system to compromise, you know, and I don't even know if she's got a moral system there.
No.
But it's like, yeah, so I don't know why would you go away on a girls' trip with someone who just a couple of weeks ago you found out that they had sex with your partner 6 years ago? Like, it's been 6 years, but I only just found out about it. Like, I would be angry.
Yeah. You know, and I'm trying to think very hard about this, how I think there is something to it, like, basically, here's the thing. So I think for me, if I found out, and it would have to be very specific to the person, I think. And the thing is, Raquel did always have, like, an uncomfortable feeling about the way James and Lala were together, like when they were up in Big Bear Lake, and, you know, they were pretty inappropriate. He was opening the shower on her while she was naked and all this, right? So, like, at the same time, though, the way I am is, if that's someone that is my ex, and not only they've already moved on, and this is just me trying, like, literally trying to put the shoe on my foot, which is something I like to try and do with a lot of this, because it brings you back down to earth on whether or not any outrage is, you know, justified or not. And I think that at that point, I would go, you know what? I just want to be good with the girls, and I'm going to be just team, you know, champion the women here. And I'd be like, if I really cared that much about what Lala thought of me, I would be like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to try and do anything to piss her off. I would be upset about it finding out. Because I'd be like, so you guys gaslit me this whole time into thinking that there was nothing going on. Right. And so, yeah. And this is coming out because she's not with Randall anymore. If she were still with Randall, she would have never found out. Right. Because she wouldn't have admitted to it.
No.
But I think that's where you just kind of go, I would not have even tried to entertain the idea of making out with Oliver. I wouldn't have done it. Like, if Lala's interested in him, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? There are plenty of other people in this world. Like, unless you were like soulmate, no. So I'm like, that was so dumb. Like, just be cool. Don't be all uncool.
Cool. Exactly.
You know, it's this. She's one of those people that I think if she does not have a man that is interested in her, maybe for the evening or at all times, she just can't take it.
Yeah.
She just
she needs the validation. She wants that feeling of being like wanted or approved, you know, whether that's by a group of girls or by a man. I think that she really needs that validation, you know, that she is like needed. I think the relationship that she had with James also really damaged her. I think we didn't get to see a lot of that relationship. You know, as much as James has like funny moments or like good comebacks or like good takedowns of other people, like, he is still not a healthy man. Like, he is full of toxic masculinity and some real behavior that's just so disrespectful towards women and his girlfriends, and
body shaming too.
Awful. Like, he's just basically called everyone fat, including Rachel's mother. Like, that's...
And Max.
Yeah. All of them. Katie, you know, he's I don't know if he has like a deep-rooted issue with food, but like calling people fat is just like his go-to, insult for people. So yeah, I am very much looking forward to seeing his take on all of this when it does play out. Like, don't get me wrong, I want to see it, but that's not me like endorsing his character by any means, you know.
I like the way you just said that it's not you endorsing his character. That is exactly how I feel as well. That is the best way to put it, because I have really had like a spot of loathing for James for a very long time, because the thing is, when it really like started for me when he was dating Kristen, I felt like he was kind of a bit of a yappy, I don't know, just kind of like how Raquel's a little lost. I felt like he was still so young and a little lost and just could not figure out how to have a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
And it started when he spit on Kristen's door, and then when he called Katie fat. And the way that got under my skin, Katie, even at the heaviest we've ever seen her, is barely, like, at most a size 6. Okay.
Barely. Yeah. No,
At
it does
most.
not constitute being called fat in any capacity. Like, you know.
I don't
not
care
at
if you're
all.
a size
No.
57.
Yeah.
Like, you don't call, like, unless they
Never.
are.
Never.
Only the one person can comment on the size of their own body unless they're asking you to. But especially in that area in Los Angeles, you know, I go back and I'll watch like videos, or, you know, someone was sending me a video of me with their daughter, and this was back in 2020, right before maybe a few months before I got pregnant with McCoy. And the way I did not realize how insanely, like, when I say thin, it was almost like close to being like an underweight thing, and I did not think I was very thin, and because of being in that environment. And so, and I'm not blaming it all on the environment, but listen, you go out and there is always, people are more toned, they're more fit, and I would go on auditions and I just look at these girls and I'm like, God, I am like double them, and I was a size 2. So the way it infuriated me to see someone, she is so much smaller than normal. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah,
like
awful.
he would call, I'm a size 4'6". He would probably call me fat. And that's about that. I think Katie and I are very similar in size. And so I think that's why it really like
resonated. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna get off the soapbox, Caitlin. Shut up. I go on tangents sometimes.
No, James deserves it. He's awful with that. It's like I think it's one of the worst things you can insult people with. It's like their physical appearance. It's the worst thing you can do.
Don't comment on I said this in my last episode. Don't comment unless it's a 10-second fix or even a 60-second fix. Like, it's one thing to be like, oh, babe, you have a little too much highlighter on your nose. It's another thing to be like,
different.
It's another thing to be like, your nose is huge. Like, those are two totally different things. Yeah. I can fix the highlighter, can't fix the nose in a minute. Like, you know, I think that's just a rule of thumb for like to teach kids and everyone in general, right? Okay, we're gonna. So. Yeah, and then when Katie says this in her confessional, I'm starting to see a pattern in Raquel. It seems that she's only interested in men that her friends are either married to or interested in, and that is a big red flag for me. Wow. It's almost like Raquel was needing to go after someone that, because Lala essentially approved of them by calling them attractive. It's like she's really desperate for that approval, and then when I think she realizes she's not going to get it.
Awful. I think, Katie, that sentence, the fact that we're now where we are and it hits so different, is just incredible. It's, you know, it all came true. You know, was it true at the time? I don't know. It's all just so confusing. Sometimes I'm like, yes, it was happening. Other times I'm like, no, it wasn't.
We don't know yet,
We don't know. And just... Yeah, it's so interesting. Like you said at the beginning when we started the second session, is we try to watch it like going into it being like, I'm going to try and not think about what we know now, but it's so difficult. So even when we hear Katie say that, it's like she's like predicting the future, what would happen, you know?
And that's the thing too, is like we have to remember the things that they're saying to her and about her during this episode. They had no actual reason to really say them other than that she made out with Oliver. So it's a little, well, and then the Tom Schwartz thing, which I think it's too close to home for me, personally. So we'll get to that. So Christina Kelly, what do you think about having her on here?
So I don't think I've ever really invested in Kristen Kelly because she's always been like a background character. She's always just like been there. I think I can count her confessionals in other seasons in like one hand.
Right.
I don't have a great memory, so like seasons 1 and 2, I can't remember if she had like a lot of airtime. I can only really remember like the iconic moments. But yeah, so I feel like she's got a lot of confessionals this season, but I don't feel like it's warranted. Maybe because I'm just not invested in her enough to really care for her opinion on a lot of things. So yeah, I thought Charlie was hilarious with the way that she was talking about the lip balm and the dry hair. That was funny. I think we get on Charlie a little bit later. But yeah, I'm just not really. I don't know. I'm not invested in Christina.
I think she's had some really funny one-liners though.
She is very like what's the word? She's very. What word am I?
I know what word
for?
I know it's not coming to me either.
She's blunt. She's very blunt in the way that she like her comebacks or like her confessionals, things that
She's
says.
precise as well.
Very, yeah.
She doesn't mince her words, and I like that.
Yeah.
And
I don't dislike her in any way.
Yeah. I mean, I like her commentary, and she's necessary, I think, because she's there to ask the questions. She's there to, support without taking attention away. And we need that person in there as well. Because it's just become so revolved around each and every single one of these people that it's like you can't have that many A players in a scene together. Otherwise it gets to be too much. True. And she's like
an early season Robin from Potomac, just kind of like there to, just to bring down all of the big energies. Yeah.
Robin doesn't do that anymore? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not the biggest fan of Robin. So, and here's another thing. Hearing the girls sitting there talking shit on Raquel, on her galaxy light, and her sitting there eating and going into her room. If we did not know what we know, what do you think we'd be saying?
We would absolutely be team Ariana. I was about to say team Raquel. We would be like Katie and Christina and Lala are the bitches. They are the mean girls sitting in the other room. I mean, if you take Scandal out of it, they were. That is exactly what they were in that moment. They were mean girls. They were not being very nice. I felt really bad for drunk Rachel when she was pissed or high or whatever she was. Like, come on, she's got a little light thing that she likes. Like, Lala, you fell asleep with her bottle for many, many years. Like, drinking out of a baby's bottle was your thing for many years. Like, if she wants to have a little light, Christina, that's okay. Like, I have a little moonlight that rotates. Like, God, she's going to compare me to a 5-year-old. I
mean, yeah, it's not the big deal. And Lala had her blankie with her. Listen, I'm the same way. I travel with, I gotta have my sound machine and I gotta have my blanket. And it's like this just like fleece blanket that it's not like a baby blanket, but I just need to have them. Like, who cares?
But that the Bravo fandom would have come together, like hating on Katie and Lala. It would have happened, like if we didn't know about Scandal. But it's strange because it is hard to separate it, Caitlin. It is hard even now saying it. It's like, yeah, they were total bitches. But now it's like, well, she deserved it.
Yes. Now we're like, you know what? She deserved every single thing that they said about her. Because it's like, and then when you think about it in that context, I guess what Raquel, I'm not sure what to call her anymore. What Rachel did is she went back. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. God, like, what are you? Rachel, Raquel, whatever. Like, it's just such like, I think it's hard. I'm sorry, I'm messing with my hair because my hair is driving me a little nuts. Anyway, so, Caitlin, stop being so vain. Don't look at yourself. This is why I normally cover my face up on the video so that I can't look at myself because I just will start playing with my hair and I won't stop.
That's hilarious.
I'm like, let me just cover myself up. Okay, so no, I have to because
That's funny.
I can cover myself up while still looking at you, which is a better thing, and that's what I was doing before, and I moved things because I'm an idiot. Anyway, sorry, friends. So back to it. Because it's like the jump from Rachel to Raquel wasn't far. And so with that, it's like, okay, I can see why you were like, okay, this is an easy transition. But also at the same time, I'm like, why the fuck was Raquel better than Rachel? I don't know. Something about it is just weird. So anyway, at the same time, though, what I understand is that she went to Sheena and was like, they were so mean and they were bullying me so much. They were not that terrible.
No.
But this is my thing, is that I find it very odd. So Rachel remembers what all the girls were saying and talking shit on her when she was drunk, overhearing it, but she doesn't remember what she said to Lala.
Lies. The lies.
Ma'am, I mean, I just remember that I said something.
I think I
offensive.
offended you. And like, it's no. She remembered. She remembered.
Absolutely.
She was just pissed where she felt comfortable enough to be able to say it. And then the next morning she was like, how am I going to navigate this?
Yeah. And you know what? I think she was trying to be funny too. I've had I hate that I'm trying to relate to her, but I've had a moment a moment. I have had so many moments like that where I thought, oh, I'm being funny and I'm being all cheeky. When it's like, no, Caitlin, that was a bitchy thing to say. And I'm like, but I didn't mean it in a bitchy way. I thought I was being funny. I'm sorry.
It was funny in my mind.
You know what? That used to be in my Twitter bio. What was that? It sounded funnier in my head. That is like my life story.
Hilarious, yeah.
You're hilarious, just like that line, Caitlin. It sounded funnier in your head because it really always does.
I can identify with that. Yeah.
Yes, we all go through that. Okay, so here, I'm sorry, I'm just jumping up. Now, okay, the flashbacks of when Lala's saying like, oh, when I was drinking. Now, this is the other thing. Yes, I'm glad she's sober now and she's not doing, the same thing she did. Right. But she still says fairly out of pocket things.
Yeah.
And those flashbacks, oh my God, she was
Not
body
good.
shaming the girls
oh my
too.
God, the way that she was talking about the summer bodies, like, great to see you guys being working on your summer bodies, awful. Like,
Makes me sick.
So that's why when she does talk about like when they were like the monster that Rachel becomes when she drinks, it's like
She was not. No, I did not find her to be that bad.
She's more like drunk fairy. Like, if anything, you can't compare it to a monster.
No, not at all. Not at all. Like, I'm sorry. I feel like they were being too hard on her about that. Period.
I completely agree.
So when Lala's asking her, sorry, when Lala's asking her the next day when they're obviously talking about that, and she's like, do you really feel that way? That if someone said, I don't feel comfortable if you've had too many drinks around my dude, do you really feel like, well, if you can't keep him, then here I am? Jesus Christ.
And Rachel, no.
She's like looking to the other girls like, this is a no answer,
yeah.
right?
What's the right answer here? Yeah, completely. That's it. This is a no answer.
Because she did have to be told by Katie not to put aluminum foil in the microwave.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah.
Guys.
Yeah.
Don't put aluminum.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if she did that?
Just a disclaimer for any Bambis out there, guys. Do not put tin foil, aluminium, whatever you call it there, like in the microwave. Yeah. Okay, Bambis, do not do it.
Bambis, that's so funny.
And don't sleep with your friends' boyfriends either while you're at it.
For the love of God. And yes, so the two girls being sober. Now we know why Lala's sober. Christina was very early pregnancy. That's
so
why
I
she
didn't know
wasn't
that.
drinking.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
The whole.
I had to double check.
Do you know? I had moments where, because I watched the episode again this morning, just so it was like fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
And I had moments where I looked at Katie and I was like, Katie, you're not having fun. I was like, I can see it on your face. You're like, oh my God, production has come to film this. There's like nothing really happening. It was just the three of us. Like, we're at this party. Who were the guys at that night party they were at? It was just so random. And
it was weird.
When I watched it again this morning, I was like, literally nothing happened there. The producers just put over like fun music to make it seem like they had a good time.
Yeah.
Like, none of those girls were having a great time. They were all bored. They just wanted to go. It was so yeah, poor Katie stuck with two sober bills.
Well, and I
couldn't bring Stassi, couldn't bring Kristen,
right? And I mean, thinking about it for Christina, I cannot think of two of the last places on this planet I would want to be more than Vegas and like Havasu in my early pregnancy. Now, Christina's
did not
like
look fun.
no, she's so tiny you could not tell. Even when she announced her pregnancy, listen, I started showing like
Balls
within 24 hours of finding out, okay? I just was not someone, I was not a Christina Kelly. I was not a Lala. I was enormous, okay? I was like Britney. That's why whenever people were shaming Britney, I was like, first of all, fuck every single one of you, because that is I was the same way. It didn't matter. I gained. So, even so, you still feel bloated, and that just sounded like hell to me. But then, oh God, I just don't even really want to talk much about the whole thing with Schwartz and his apartment. Like, grow the fuck up and unpack your apartment.
Unpack a packing box. I'm sorry, Katie, and I agree with you completely. I think he is a man-child. Sandoval as well. I mean, completely different. But Schwartz, I feel like he really needs to just grow the fuck up. Like, he looks to Sandoval for business decisions. He looks to Katie for, like, life decisions. Like, he has no, like desire to adult, it doesn't feel like. And it's like...
He uses the magic 8-ball to make major life decisions. What the hell?
Like, one of the most unattractive things in men of that age is no maturity, no sense of, like, purpose or direction or, like, decision-making capabilities, because he doesn't lead, if that makes... I'm not saying a man should lead, but
no, I know exactly what you're saying.
But Tom, like, needs to lead a little bit, you know?
It's not even like and I know you're not even, like, saying, like, oh, the man has to take charge. It's like, instead of it being that he looks to someone else to mother him...
For everything,
at least have independence.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, Sheena's doing it for him. She's mothering him. And it's like, dude, like, because if a man doesn't know, I guarantee Schwartz, if he had to fill out something for getting his own health insurance, he could not be fucked to know what to fill out.
Absolutely. No. And it is still beyond me that after 10 years in this game with the money that they've made and shit like that he has not become more astute, that he's not become more, like, you know, business savvy, like business mindset or good financial mindset. You know, it's like, just because you bought a house in the valley doesn't mean that you're good at investing, you know? It's... No. You know...
No. And I mean, they bought the house at a good time, you could say, but I was surprised Sandoval even knew what sweat equity was. So I was like, all right, whatever. And my struggle with Sheena here is she is being the complete and utter definition of what I would say a married pick-me girl is, where she is like, oh my God, I just want to get you, like, for a boys' night. Let's get you your Schwartz back. And also, why did he immediately think, I don't want to get a prostitute? Sheena, this shows you don't know how to throw a guys' night, because that is what a man like that automatically thinks of. Is getting...
Automatically. Yeah, that's the truth.
I mean, girl, you're out of your depth here. Yeah. This is not...
Sheena screaming for airtime, Sheena.
Yes. Sheena, listen,
how many times did she say, as long as I can come? Because I organized it so I can come, you know? She was letting the producers know. I'm there, you know?
She said it about as many times as she said, I'm so glad I'm not on that trip. I'm like, here with my family. I'm having such a great time. Now, listen, Summer Moon is one of the cutest children I've ever seen in my life. She is so cute. And I'm not even like... just because I'm a mom doesn't mean I think every child is cute. I don't. And just because I'm a mom doesn't mean I want to see babies on my TV. But I could do more Summer Moon. I think she's adorable.
She's cute. She's a cutie.
Like, you've got that naturally. Just, you know, don't breaking shit. I could barely handle Ariana talking about her dog. That really broke my heart.
Don't. So listen, I have unfortunately gone through two tragic deaths of my dogs when I was growing up in South Africa, but they both did not live life to their fullest. They both unfortunately left sooner than they should have. But my dog now, Pepper, she is almost 13 years old, and it's me and her for a very long time in London, just alone.
It's a long time.
Yeah, I got her when she was 3 months, so she is I see her, like, so I almost have to stop myself from identifying with Ariana too much. I still have to separate it, because I know the pain of a loss, of losing the animals, and I still have Rusty's ashes up in my kitchen. It's up on my counter.
Their family.
Amongst my plants. It's there forever. So it's like to tap into those feelings of being able to connect with Ariana on this level, I've just wanted to avoid, because it's such a tragic, awful thing. And then to not feel like you're emotionally supported or physically supported by your partner, who would rather go to a boys' night than even. So Caitlin, I don't need to feel comforted. I don't need someone on me, touching me, like talking to me, but to know someone is there, even in the
Yes.
next room, is so comforting.
I'm the
like
same way.
I don't need you in my physical space, but to know that I can get to you, or that someone is there, is really comforting. So for at this time, I mean, God, her dog was 18 years old, wasn't she? Like
That is her entire adult life. I mean,
yeah, completely.
it and because truly, I so relate to you on that, because even, from the emotional part of me going through things that I've been going through, my mom will, can I give you a hug? And I'm like, no, I'm going to cry more, or I'm going to start crying.
Yeah,
I know it makes you feel better to comfort me this way.
Yeah, but don't.
It helps. Yeah, because it's like one of those things where you never want to be alone, but you just don't want anyone near you at the same time,
No,
and you're
completely.
that devastated.
I know that. I will come when I'm ready. But I need to know that you're there. So I will open up when I can, but you need to still be there, You need to be accessible.
Yes, and like really, like these animals, just because they're not just a dog, and I've never viewed any pets as just a pet, because you're with these animals more often than you're with, a lot of times, your family, than
absolutely.
anyone outside of your family as well.
Completely agree. Yeah.
And it's almost like having a forever baby, and because they look to you as their caregiver and things like that. I'm going to start getting very emotional about it too. So yes, it was, Ariana. This killed me. Let's shift gears to the car ride to Havasu. More.
Oh my God, you sound like Andy Cohen at a reunion. Right, switching gears, guys. And you know what, Caitlin? My video yesterday, oh my God, this is hilarious that you said that, because my video yesterday was the things that annoy me about the Real Housewives franchise, and Andy Cohen saying, right, guys, let's switch gears is one of them, because we're not at a fucking, this is not a fucking Grand Prix. Like, we're at a reunion. No one is switching gears. Like, it's just, so it's just like, hilarious to hear you say switching gears.
Because, it's like, I run out of things to say sometimes, because this is something too about podcasting. You don't realize the number of redundancies you have in your own conversational skills. Like, I tend to say, listen constantly, and I'm like, oh my, and like, and incessantly, and something else I say constantly. Now you guys are, if you haven't already caught it, and I've been told this since I was in my early 20s, I say literally all the time. I literally say literally all the time.
Now that I hear you say it again, I can hear you say it before a few times.
Yeah. So it's like, I try so hard to come up with different things to say, and I
It's hard. I think for me, it's like so many people comment on my videos being like, absolutely, drink every time he says absolutely, because I say absolutely so many times, and all of the things. Like, so many people are like, drink every time he says all of the things, because I said in like all of my fucking videos. So I know it. It's just like a go-to. I don't think about it. It just comes out of my mouth. And then when I'm posting the video, I'm like, I literally said absolutely in every clip. So it's like, absolutely she did, absolutely not, absolutely, guys. So it's like, Terence, what the fuck?
And it's not that we don't know other words. It's just like,
we do. It's just
whenever you're trying to nail it and you're trying to get your point out and say something in an articulated way, the easiest word that you're used to saying the most comes out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See, I just said it absolutely. It just becomes so natural.
Literally, though.
Oh my God. Yeah. I know that.
I mean, we're all human beings. And this is something else I say all the time. What can I say? What can we say? Oh my God, I'm gonna annoy the shit out of myself here pretty soon. And I'm gonna annoy all of our listeners, because now they're going to be like, here, she just said.
No,
he said absolutely. She said literally. She said, damn it. I'm gonna be really having to watch my ass here. Okay. Well, the yes, this is correct. Divorce is not just between two people. It is between the families. And so, yeah, like whenever Katie's mom was, it's telling Raquel,
Yeah.
like, listen, this is,
Yeah.
Katie
It's
may not be
bigger.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
she may not outwardly
than
tell
this.
you exactly how she's feeling, but my God, this
This is a
is someone's
divorce.
family.
Yeah, it is a divorce. It's a home. It's dogs. It's finances. It's anything. It's everything and anything in between. So much bigger than James and Raquel's split. They were not really
Agreed.
like tied together. Besides, well, it seems like James kind of let go of the dog very quickly. He only saw it once. Like he didn't even fight to see the dog. It doesn't sound like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very different to what James and Rachel went through. Like this is a real life.
It
divorce,
is.
and I don't think Rachel still understands that.
No, it's like so many things that, like, what do you do? Things that I'm going through. What am I doing? What do I do with my wedding dress? What do I do with my ring? What do I do with these like sentimental mementos?
Everything.
And
Yeah.
I have hundreds of photos of this wedding that was this beautiful gathering. And so, and mine was not televised on top of it. So I just,
You didn't have like public interest and investment. Like, people were invested in this relationship. They wanted to champion it for many years. I think it's only last year that we really saw actually this is quite unhealthy. Like it should probably end this relationship.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I still look at Katie and she has this like underlying look of sadness. And I want happiness for her. I really want her to find someone. Was it Danny Pellegrino who said it on Watch What Happens Live or somewhere that like Katie and Ariana need to date girls and preferably each other. Like they would be so much happier,
Listen, I've said this before. My friend Tessa, she is into girls, and we know Ariana is bisexual, and I think they would make. Tessa is gorgeous, and Tessa is a really amazing writer. She was a writer on P-Valley. She was on my podcast of the very first Scandival podcast episode I did. She wrote. She was a writer on the Showtime show P-Valley. Tessa, this is just for you, and also specifically for Ariana. She wrote 2 movies for Lifetime. It was Single Black Female. Yes, Amber Riley from Glee starred in it.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Very cool.
Tessa is incredibly talented, incredibly funny, and I happen to know she lives quite close to you. So I think that Tessa would be the perfect person for you to go ahead and rebound with, because
There we go. Go for it. Jump right in.
I mean, Tessa, she's mixed. So she is literally like, and she looks like she is, I'm not going to say her age, but she looks like she's like 22 years old.
Right.
She looks very similar, and I just forgot her name, to the girl who plays Zendaya's younger sister on Euphoria. I think that girl, I wish I could remember her name. She's a really amazing actress too. They literally, Tessa and that girl could be sisters. They look so much alike. So listen,
Well, Ariana, if you're listening, go for it. There's a girl named
Do
Tessa
it.
out there for you.
I think you should date a writer. Listen, she would hype you up.
She really just needs to find a non-narcissist. And a non-cheater. Like, really, she needs to
100%.
find, like, yeah, I think she needs
A kind person.
really good emotional connection with someone now,
Someone who knows what empathy is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, empathy. Yeah.
And who knows the difference between a straight cis male and a straight cis male.
Yeah.
No, that's the same
Honestly.
thing. Yeah, he said, what did he call himself? A white cis male.
He is a big cyst, Seriously.
Yes, he is.
A bit of a cyst, yeah.
And,
Awful man.
yeah.
Do you know what? It's weird, Caitlin, because I've always watched Vanderpump and I've never really had strong opinions for Sandoval. But now that
Nope.
I see this, there's so much previous behavior and scenes that I've seen clips of on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, or like even in my own mind playing back things where you're like, oh my God, you are just an absolute knob. That's what you are.
Yes.
Someone
said it's kind of like when you watched The Sixth Sense for the first time and then you find out that Bruce Willis is dead the whole time.
Yeah.
And then you go back and watch it.
Totally.
You watch it completely differently.
Completely different, yeah. Yeah. And now we see so much that we didn't see before. Like Justice for Miami Girl.
Yes.
You know?
I totally believe. I mean, and Tom did. Sandoval cheated on Kristen many times. Yes, Kristen did do some really shitty things as well. She cheated as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. I imagine Jax is sitting back, being like, "I'm so glad this is
Oh, he
happening."
is.
Yeah.
He and Brittany are going to be on Watch What Happens Live next
And
week.
you know what? I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. I'm
Yeah,
dying.
yeah, me too.
I am dying.
Yeah, yeah. Can't believe they're
I
the
hate
last
that.
couple standing. You know, and still living in the valley. You know, still got their home. Like it's yeah.
And he paid back some of his
Beautiful.
tax lien. Look at that.
Yeah.
Um,
Growing up, Jax.
do you think that Rachel was having the full mentee bee in the car because on the way to Lake Havasu because she was already? This is I know we've kind of mentioned this because she was already having the affair, or do we think that it was like just a genuine mental breakdown?
I think there's two ways. Two ways that I've looked at this is that it was because of the conversation that had happened, and that Katie was like, hide your boyfriends, and I think it could be because she started having anxiety. Oh my God, what the fuck am I doing? What the fuck have I done? Like, if this comes out, I'm totally screwed. Like, this is their best friend's boyfriend that I'm hooking up with. Or she had such a bad experience during that girls' trip, and Tom that night was when they got back for the boys' night. Tom was a real sounding board and like giving her that like, you know, comfort that it started maybe then. But I don't know. I've seen videos and watched the moment where Rachel walked in and how he was like, oh my God. And then kind of he had this like smile and he was smizing when he looked up at her. So I don't know. I really want to know. It's really frustrating that we don't have the answers now. But listen, I think her breakdown in the car was real. I don't know what it really stemmed from. I do understand that right now she is just this like, who am I? Like, I don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing. And I think a lot of us can identify with that. I'm sure a lot of us have had moments where we're like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Why am I here? Why am I making these decisions? You know,
2 days ago, man. Like...
yeah, exactly. So it's like we can all identify with that.
Absolutely.
Which is why if this never happened, we would have been Team Rachel. But I must say, Caitlin, that I think the girls were so lovely with their support of her during her breakdown. They all, it felt like they had an organic, authentic interest in wanting to make her feel better in that moment. Like even Lala pulling over and like, you know, telling her to, what was it? Like, breathe through your mouth and blow out through your nose. Like, can you imagine all the snot coming out? Lovely. But yeah, I don't know what it stemmed from, the meltdown, but it felt real.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think it was definitely real. Did you see? Yeah. I mean, she was sweating through her shirt. She had the pit stains. Like, I did feel bad for her, you know. And I listen.
Me too.
We all get it. And rethinking about everything that happened, like that James said about her mother and her father.
Awful.
I'm going to tell you what. If any man could be asked to say something like that to me about my family. Let me tell you something about my family.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Yeah.
I will light you on fire.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, completely agree. Yeah.
Because also, Rachel says in the car, I beat myself up over everything. No, you don't. Not enough. Not about sleeping with your best friend's husband.
Not enough. Yeah. Yeah. And it's also, you know, what I felt quite sad was that her and her mom were waiting for like the right time to leave James when he wasn't around, because they were like, you know, I got very much the sense that she didn't feel safe because of what his reaction would be like. And I think that in itself is a very sad situation to find yourself in, where, you know, you're having to break up with someone from afar because you're worried about their reaction and what the outcome could be. So I really did have moments where I felt really bad for Rachel in this episode. And then I'm like, nah, bitch, I'm not getting sucked into that shit, you know?
Nope. Because she did suck us in, though. And then she went right back to LA to prove these girls right.
That's exact. And the way that she walked into that boys' night, it felt like she was going in with it felt like she wanted to get comeuppance, like she wanted to get back at them, and whether that was flirting with Schwartz or fucking Sandoval or something, I don't know what her plan was in that moment, but when she walked in, it felt like she was getting her comeuppance on the girls' trip from the girls.
Absolutely. Like it was almost like she was walking in and she made it seem as though she was kind of trying to surprise them, even though, Sandoval knew that she had left Havasu at that point, which I know a lot of us were like, and how did Sandoval know that?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Rachel, girl. Yeah. Yeah. So, what are our thoughts on Charlie? I go back and forth on her.
So do I. Caitlin, I know, because I love a quote. I love a comeback. I love a good confessional moment. I love it. You know, if you like some of her sayings. Wait, I think I put something down here. Like,
you did.
Talk about going from a mansion back to your apartment. I was dead. Like, her saying, like, Christina Kelly lip balm and dry hair. Like, it's just little isms like that are just, like, as a viewer, like, I love. It's like Candace from Potomac, not today, Cankle's neck.
Oh my God.
There's so many things we take, you know, and that we will use. And that will be one of them for a long time. And then also, I'm surprised Christina Kelly had something to say without Katie's dick in her mouth. Like, that is a future Real Housewife of Atlanta comment right there. Like, you know.
The pearls, I was clutching.
Yeah,
I was
absolutely. So it's like, I'm still not sure on her because I don't think she's been part of the show enough for us to really know who Charlie is.
Yeah.
I don't think she has those friendships or relationships with the cast that will allow us to get to know her like that. You know, maybe we'll see it. I did really like her Twitter posts at the start of this when she was kind of, in a way, she was sticking up for not like, but she was supporting Rachel, but she wasn't, because then she was like, she said something to the sister about like, I can't remember, but I just remember being like,
see you next Tuesday, get off my page before I beat your ass too.
That's it, yes. And I was like, yes, Charlie, like, that's it. So yeah, I don't know. It's, you know, I can tell you I probably like her a little bit more than Christina Kelly just because of her isms, her confessionals and stuff. But I don't know her, so I can't, like, champion her, really.
Well, something I do appreciate is, one, you know what? I've not ever really been a Charlie fan, but she sticks up for her friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she really has their back in the moment in a way that, listen, that's a fun type of way to have someone have your back. Yeah. But then she has also tweeted recently, it was like on Wednesday or Thursday, like, listen, I may not have been on the right side of things at the time. You know, I didn't know what was going on, but I do pride myself on being a girl's girl and backing my friends. And I'm a loyal friend, whether it's blind loyalty at the time. You know, that's something I can be proud of myself about. And you know what? I respected her saying that because essentially she was saying, like, look, I know I was backing the wrong person, but I'm proud of how I backed someone who I thought was a good person and a friend
at the time.
Fair,
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So it's what I did find interesting going back to Sky Bar. That's where, do you remember that boys' night that they had there where Peter banged some random girl?
Yeah.
And it was when Stassi was still on there and Bo went, and they were, you know, the boys were calling the girls, being like, God, can you, like, come pick us up? We're scared type of, you know, like, energy. So I thought I've been to Sky Bar many times. It has not changed at all. It is still the same. Just judging from what we saw here. Now the girls' dinner. Oh my God. I just was cracking up at Lala walking out being like, the res is for Lala. Can you imagine getting a reservation for the name Lala? I'd be like, excuse me?
The res. The res. Is that like something you say in America? The res.
Yes,
I would
I'm sorry.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Because I would never walk into a restaurant and be like, the res is under Terence. Like, I would feel like such a plonker.
So it's
okay,
really
so
something.
Okay.
Yeah, and it shows that she has worked in a restaurant before, because it's especially, I don't know, like, you remember, I mean, was that last season or before? Kristen was still on, so this was before, when they were like, oh, so-and-so's 86th from the restaurant. That that's like another weird restaurant term. Like they're not allowed to come here. They're essentially blocked.
Oh, okay, like fired or like not allowed in kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Do you remember
Yes.
them saying that about Danica somewhere or whatever?
No,
Gosh, Danica, what happened to her?
Oh, she would have been great this season. Would have loved to have had some Danica back.
Oh my gosh, that would have been, at least we would have still had some actual Sir stuff that wasn't just Rachel.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do now? So, okay. Again, the girls were really just like going in on Raquel again. And the thing is though, this is where Rachel lost me. This is the moment.
This is the moment.
When she said, well, Lala was into Oliver too. That is your argument after you heard them saying that they would not trust you with their men if you were drinking. So you want to reiterate, well, she was into him too.
Yeah.
What
she
was the
thinks her
fucking
own,
point?
so it's like she gets herself into these own situations, you know. It's like she doesn't have enough awareness or enough, like, you know, emotional intelligence to understand that what she's saying is just like highly offensive, or she shouldn't be saying what she's thinking. There's just nothing coming out. Like, listen, I don't think the girls' night should have. It didn't need to become what it was because they did not need to fill Charlie in on anything. It felt like they had gotten to a place where they moved on from it, or at least for the trip, but then to like give Charlie the full like rundown, it's like they wanted it to get somewhere where it wasn't like a positive conversation.
Well, yeah, and here's the thing too. This is one of those moments where I feel like producers were like prompting this one. Just honestly, that's
it felt
the way
like
I
tell Charlie what happened, give Charlie the recap of everything. That's exactly what it felt like.
Yeah, and it felt like Charlie asked about it, something, you know. That's one of the very few moments I feel like that they do that on the show.
You know, it's I think Charlie, again, she was so great when she said that, like, she didn't want Lala as her, like, trophy woman, or what's it? What was her comment that she said? I think we wrote it down here. Spokesperson for women. We need to find a new president or manager. Like, totally. Like, Lala really did jump on a high horse and completely forgot, like, about her behavior and the cheating. Like, it was a real moment where I wanted to be like, Lala, this is a moment where you can still have support from your fans if you just shut up. Like, just keep quiet and nod and smile. But you didn't. I
agree. Yeah.
Really. Yeah. I was like,
no one looked good here. No one looked good except for Katie to me, because I agreed with Katie. Because I'm going to say this, you know, if I don't care if I'm the one who initiated the divorce, if we're not even divorced yet, and you are, I say, yeah, go ahead and come on this trip. I'm not going to make it, you know, I'm going to be a girl's girl here. Yeah. And you are still motherfucking talking about, but I didn't make out with Schwartz.
Yeah. But you asked him to make out with you.
Exactly. This is where Lala had a good point.
Crew.
Lala had a good point here, and she was like, quit fucking going on about how we're supposed to acknowledge that. Yes, you didn't because
and give you kudos for it. Yeah.
Kudos.
Yeah, that's it. He denied you, Rachel. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Completely agree.
Because then whenever Rachel does end up saying to Lala, and I wrote it down because I was like, girl, what in the fuck are you trying to come up with? Speak the language here. Because I don't think you know any other languages to even get it confused with. She says, honestly, if anybody should be worried about you being with their man. And that's when Lala's like, what? What are you even trying to say? What are you trying to say to me here? It's like, I know you're speaking to me, but I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah. It's awful. Like, just hearing you say that again, I'm like, oh my God, Rachel. Like, what the fuck is coming out of your mouth?
I just... Girl. Now, my thoughts again on the Katie versus Rachel. I was like clapping when Katie was like, I will light you on fire. That is literally something I say as well. I will light your ass on fire. If someone really like thinks that they're going to go round and round with me, and I do believe that I can hold my own, verbally, obviously, that is like literally the exact, Jesus. That is genuinely the exact thing I say. Ooh. Why Rachel thinks that we've gone over this. I can't. I'm not gonna get on my soapbox again. Oh my God. I can't because I will not stop.
Self-awareness is on point today, Caitlin. Like, self-awareness is great. You're like all of the things. All of the things.
See?
The words, the video, the face, the hair. I love it.
The therapy's working.
Yeah,
God
there's
bless.
a lot of self-awareness happening in this podcast.
See, guys, I'm growing. Growth.
Love it.
Because my last episode, I did not get off the soapbox about Larsa Pippen, and
Don't even get me started. Don't get me started on Larsa Pippen. Do not.
Okay,
When she was like, you just put people to sleep. Oh my God. Don't even get me started.
she makes me
awful. I can't. Her anorexia. I had like what was coursing through my veins was venom the other night when I watched the second part of the reunion. Like even Andy at one point was like, Lassa, come on.
It's just, I mean, it was like, Jesus Christ, you are on another goddamn planet.
Yeah. Anyway, Miami
freaking
is
airhead. If it weren't for people like Nicole, you wouldn't have the ass you have right now.
You wouldn't wake up from surgery. Like, if it wasn't for her putting in the right amount of anesthetic for you to you know how it works. Like the amount of drugs to fall asleep, you would die, or you'd wake up during surgery.
Yes, and on top of that, I'm sorry, I don't know how she gave birth, but I can tell you what, I would have felt every goddamn ounce of my 8 pound 7-ounce baby.
If it wasn't for your anesthesia.
I'm sorry, it was 8 pound 9-ounce baby.
My God.
Going out of my body, and I'm going to tell you what, thank fucking God for anesthesiologists.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
All I have to say about that. Okay.
But no,
we're going
to moving
switch
on. Back
gears.
To yeah. We're going to switch gears because we're at the Grand Prix today, Caitlin.
Yep. Changing that shift. Okay.
Changing that shift.
So Charlie and Rachel are gonna leave, and they decide they're gonna go confront the girls about it. And the mere fact that Rachel thinks that Lala is so fucking mad at her over Oliver. Oh my God. And then to say, she was trying to get Katie with this too. And we're gonna meet up with Sheena and Schwartz at the laundry yard.
The when she said that, but the faces of the other girls was just like, for me, the goal. Katie and Lala's face was just like, can you believe the audacity of saying that? Like,
no.
Like, come on. Like, we've just had this whole thing about how hide your husbands, like, you know, blah, blah, blah. And you're now going to say that you're going to meet up with not only one of their ex-husband or soon-to-be ex-husband, but the girl that's accused of trying to get you guys to make out.
The way...
Yeah, that's some real social awareness right there, Rachel.
I mean, it is a lack of awareness in such a way that it's like, I don't like calling people dumb, like kind of like James in Confessional, the D and the S word, dumb and stupid. But Jesus, is it just wind blowing through there? Are you that obtuse that you think that was going to win you any points or make you look any better? If they had been truly bullying you, Rachel, you would have looked a million times better if you'd been like, I just want to go home and be with Graham Cracker and cry in my bed alone. That would have been the way to do it.
Have you seen that TV show Unreal?
Oh my God, yes.
Yes.
Love
it. I've been thinking about this quite a lot over the last couple of weeks, but either two things with Rachel. Either she is, yes, dumb, stupid, all of those things with wind flapping in her mind, or she has an incredible fucking producer who is working with her. And let me tell you, Caitlin, that producer would be like me. if I was making a show like this and I could manipulate one of the cast members as well as I think I would be able to deliver an amazing show and convince them to say things and behave in a certain way, I have great manipulation skills. And on someone like Rachel, all you need is someone like me to produce someone like that, to give good fucking TV.
Evolution,
And
are you hiring?
that's come on, let me in. So either she is just that dumb and wishy-washy, or she is working with a very incredible producer who is pushing her to do all of these things, and she's not even realizing what she's doing along the way because she is so trusting and with it. And come on, Rachel, like this will totally secure you for next season. Like this season is going to be so Rachel driven. Like there is so much you could say to her to get her on board of a lot of things. Like I can just imagine a producer saying, okay, now you're going to go upstairs and you're going to say you're going to meet with Sheena and Swartz. And even if I have a Rachel pushing back on saying that, I could convince her to go upstairs and say it. So I don't know, maybe it's a combination of both. She's working with a really good producer. Well, not a good producer, a very bad producer, but who's doing a good job for the show, but just not a good job for the person.
It's interesting that you say that because on, again, that Jamie All Over podcast, she said that whenever they were at Sheena and Brock's wedding, that there was a period of time when all the girls were supposed to be, because I think Rachel was a bridesmaid, were supposed to be getting ready together. And that, excuse me, Rachel was nowhere to be found for 3 hours and said she just needed some pool and like me time. Well, before that, though, maybe the night before when they were having some sort of like white party that I guess might have been like the rehearsal, Rachel says to Jamie and someone else, they want me to kiss Schwartz. And she was like, well, do you want to?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I like him. And Jamie was like saying that it was the whole thing of they want me to do it. Who is they?
There we go. Right there. It's the producers. Listen, I've watched enough of these shows to, like, I've spoken to a lot, and each housewife has their own producer. So I imagine it's similar to Vanderpump Rules, where they each have that one producer that they're working with, or field producer, who's basically with them, interviewing them, all of the things.
Yes.
And, you know, I did an extreme sports reality show in 2017. So I got a real understanding of how producers work with you to get specific things for you to say on camera. So I got a real insight, and I can now almost see it from miles away when I'm watching these shows, is how they've been like manipulated into saying certain things. And I think Rachel is just someone really, really easy to manipulate, and to be able to mold into whatever you want her to be. And yeah, it is possible that she is working with a really good/bad producer who's doing wonderful things for the show, but really bad things for her.
I totally agree. Now, I think that when it comes down to him, from everything I've been gathering, I think there's that. And then I think that she also is smarter than we realize, but that she's just, her social skills are shitty. Yeah. You know, okay, so there's one thing I do have to comment on. That bar in Havasu. Lala, Sunshine, this man told you he lives in Palm Springs and that the place he used to go to in WeHo was the Abbey. For those who don't know, the Abbey, now, I let me preface this. I have seen plenty of straight man in the Abbey. The Abbey is a gay bar. It is a really fun gay bar to go to. It is right next to, I don't think it's there anymore, this was quite a few years ago, but to a place called Truck Stop, that was the lesbian bar. And WeHo is known for being more so where the gay bars are. So he lives in Palm Springs, where, no, the entire population is not gay. There are a lot of elderly people there, too. And there are a lot of people who are neither, okay? But Lala, were you even listening to him talking? Just because he is a black man with tattoos and a bucket hat on does not mean he is straight.
It's I cringed at her when she it was, you know, I mean, there was a lot of talk about her vagina, and she was like, my vagina was leading that night, which I thought was really funny in itself. But like, I just cringed so much. I was like, Lala, no, like it also felt a little bit, am I right to say it felt a little bit inappropriate?
Yeah, it was just weird.
Yes. Yeah,
she gets to a point where she gets like so aggressive that I'm like, I don't think she actually feels that comfortable with herself to be this aggressive right now. Because coming out of a relationship at all, that you were in for a long time.
Yeah, totally.
It's not, at least for me, it's not that easy. Like, I still don't know how to navigate that. Like, that is a whole thing where I'm like, how do you not feel like weird? And I don't know. Anyway. So the only other thing that I was just gonna say, we pretty much touched on everything here. Because the boys' night, we get back to that, and you know, you asked a good question here, which was, do we think James is still harboring feelings for Raquel? I think he's still possessive. And
yes,
I think
yes,
that
you're right. It's the possessive tendencies. That's what's coming through rather than the old love for Raquel. It's the possessiveness. Yeah, I think you are completely right there.
And we saw, this was way earlier, but we saw the Sandoval bringing out all the lightning bolts. But I do know that that's a part of the I don't know, logo kind of thing out over there at TomTom, but like, it was so opportunistic, just the timing of that. But listen, I know we're about wrapping here, but I know more is going to be coming out. I don't know.
There's no way that we are not going to be getting more. But even Caitlin, if we don't get any more new stuff, just to know the details of what happened is almost enough. Like, I want a verbatim Ariana. I was standing at the stage. I was handed his phone. I then looked. I saw this video of this happening. This is what happened afterwards, and this was the fallout. And then I want to hear everyone else's perspective as well. Like, if the producers do not give us what we want, if they do not give us what we want, I'm going to be very frustrated.
Terence, it gives me chills thinking about seeing that in the confessional, because too, like Sheena was saying on her podcast, she plans to fully be there in person next week, but Shishu, I need you to take one for the team and zoom in. Yeah. Rachel needs to.
I completely agree. I think, do you know what I think, Sheena? I think Sheena is a champion of the show. She wants the show to do well. She wants that contract for next season. So she will do the things that is needed to keep the show going. And I think if Sheena understands that the voice of the fandom is for her to step back so that we can get the full story here, I think Sheena will be fine dialing in, because she understands that we deserve to know the full story. Like, we
deserve to see her. Yeah, we deserve to see her have
like,
to
I want that
CCTV
in. Footage of them outside the bar or in the bar when they found out. Like, Bravo better go that far. Can we put in a request to the NYPD to get, like, CCTV footage of a specific street or bar? I don't know, but I even feel like the mid-season trailer that we're going to get is totally going to include some of this. And to think we're only on episode 6, and we'll probably have, like, 18 episodes or something.
This better be longer than Beverly Hills. Okay, this is way bigger, way more. If we end up with more episodes than this season of Vanderpump Rules, when we think about Beverly Hills, I'm gonna be pissed.
Imagine if the producers do us dirty and they get to the end of the season and they're like, actually, we've decided not to cover it all. Like the shit that happened with Renna and Kathy Hilton. Like, imagine, thank God this cast aren't rich enough to do, like, season desists and stuff.
Oh, no. I mean, Rachel did send those out, but I will defend the cease and desist she sent out, like, regarding the revenge porn laws.
Completely agree. Yeah, that shit should not be shared. Yeah, absolutely stand for that. Yeah, no, we stand Raquel on that. Ugh. Yeah, that video must not be shared. It needs to be, like, destroyed up and taken down, and her consent was not there. Yeah, completely agree.
100%. Well, I guess we're gonna have to wait and find out more.
My God, there's going to be so much to talk about in weeks to come, Caitlin. My God, there's just going to be so much to talk about, because I know. I mean, I think Ariana's done the right thing by keeping quiet. I think to give people too much too soon is the wrong thing. This is also the best thing for something about her, for their sandwich shop. This is the best thing that could have happened. Like,
yes,
yes, like, Ariana, they have so much support. So
absolutely.
much support now.
And
she deserves it. They both do.
Ariana did put out a statement, I'm sure you saw.
I saw it,
if y'all didn't see
Whatever doesn't kill me better run. I fucking loved
it.
That. Yeah, loved it.
I thought that was great. She didn't make herself a victim. She just was. It was very Ariana. Ariana's very authentic, and she just was like,
she recognized the pain, the sadness, but she did not like.
I thought it was wonderful that she put out that statement. I thought it was great. It was perfect timing. She gave herself some time, and it was brilliant. Loved it. Okay, friends. Terrence and I could talk for hours. Literally. We're going to end here. But listen, I might try and do another TikTok live watch party. Didn't work out the way we were hoping for it to last week.
TikTok can be a nightmare trying to set up and sort out, and also sometimes they stop your live if you're doing if you're filming with a TV show. Yeah,
or if you have a glass of wine.
Oh, God, honestly.
They did that to Jessie. It was ridiculous.
Was it the people reporting her?
I guess they banned her from going live for a week because she and I both, we weren't like hammered. We weren't taking shots. We had a glass of wine each. It was like.
It's so frustrating, but you can like sell a child. Okay, TikTok.
Yeah, thank you.
So don't get us started. Anyway, don't ban me, TikTok. Don't ban me. Okay.
No, please don't do that again. And you can find Terrence on TikTok. It's at Bravo Chronicles, correct?
It's Bravo Chronicles, yes. And then Instagram is Chronicles of Bravo. And TikTok is just Bravo Chronicles.
Go follow him. His content, like I've gone on before, is quite unique and fun. And please leave a review. My reviews are not looking so great. So maybe if you're going to leave a shitty review, at least leave some constructive criticism.
Are people leaving shitty reviews? How dare they? Awful people. Awful.
God damn it.
Horrible. Like, I get them on my videos as well. I had someone tell me on my Below Deck video yesterday saying, on my Below Decks interesting facts, they were like, dude, no one cares. Get a life. And I wanted to be like, actually, the 15,500 people who like this post, they care. And what would you like me to do instead? Troll people on TikTok? Because that sounds fun.
Yeah, and you care enough to comment, sir.
Yeah, and thank you for helping the algorithm,
And it says something about you that you showed up in his algorithm.
Yeah, it's exactly. Yeah, totally, Caitlin, that's it.
People are so stupid to think that, you... Just because you did not just happen upon this video, okay?
Why couldn't they just have
your history suggested it?
But it's also why couldn't they found something positive they liked in your podcast, or even just not comment at all? Why go out of your way to leave a negative review? It just makes no sense.
I don't know.
Be kind, people. We're in a really precarious stage of the world right now. We don't know if we're going to be here in 5 years. Just be nice.
Jesus, right? God, don't get me started on that.
Be nice.
Yes, please. Okay, friends, we will. Okay. I'll see you next week. Bye.